This video is going to show you solo GM with an interesting exotic weapon. Just a couple of things before I start the video. I've noticed that across the board for stats for everybody, Destiny 2 stats are dropping. Player numbers aren't so good. Stats on my channel, view-wise as well, have plummeted a little bit compared to where we was 2-3 weeks ago. And it's all because of Right at the 9. Right at the 9 has not been a good event. I haven't enjoyed it much either. What Bungie did with Pantheon was the right thing to do last year into the light update. What they did this year has not been very good. It's been B tier. The problem with the event isn't the loot. The loot's actually rather good. There's a lot of god rolls from Right at the 9. A lot of people saying there isn't. I think some of you need to reevaluate how you think about god rolls, because 90% of you are wrong on Right at the 9 weapons. I'm not giving you the video about it yet. I may well do. That'll be at the end of the event, but I will. But like I say, people are saying there's no weapons to chase. Are you for real? You must be for real, right? Because we're playing two different games then. Because why am I looking at some of the rolls saying, ooh, that's good, ooh, that's good. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't get it. Everybody has a different perspective on a god roll nowadays, and that gap is widening and widening to the point where, like, I don't even know what you lot are talking about sometimes. And I bet some of you don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. So yeah, it's like we're like playing two different games. I don't get it. So the loot's not the problem. The dungeon rotation is. For motivation though, Prophecy's going to be next week. That is the best dungeon in the game. It's actually better than Warlord's Ruin as well. Prophecy best dungeon ever made in D2. Warlord's Ruin number 2. So that's your motivation. So you can do some prophecy prep. So there's still reasons to get on, right? But anyways, getting back to the video. The weekly feature GM is Warden nothing, of course. Surges are Void Surge, Strand Surge, Solar Threat. Champions are all of them. So the weapon is bad juju. Fell off the radar for a lot of years. However, having used it today, I was realising that it was doing a few things very good in GM. And I was like, what? So I'll explain how this turn of events happened. Initially what I wanted to do was run Void Walker with Skull of Diorama Amkara with Nova Bomb spam. I done it, I tried it, I've tested the build, it's rubbish. I tested that with bad juju, so I'd done the run, but what I discovered from the runs was, hang on a sec, bad juju's hitting really hard. So I was like, Skull of Amkara is no good. It needs a buff in the game. The identity of the exotic doesn't work. In my opinion, it shouldn't be kills. It should be hits or damage dealt. Right? So if you Nova Bomb a boss, you should get half your super back. Nova Bombing 5 goblins to get half your super back is not good when a grenade can do that. It's really in a bad state, is this exotic, because somebody asked me to use this. So I've done that and discovered it's rubbish. It's not that it's rubbish, it's very unnecessary in the game. But what I discovered in the end was, hang on a sec, bad juju's hitting really hard in the game. The reason for that is String of Curses is a 100% damage bonus and stacks up to 5 times. 100% is the max stack. And gives lots of super energy. So it's actually rather good in the game right now. Some of you might think, same thing again, some of you might think it's a B tier weapon. Well, why do I think it's better than B tier? Let me ask you the question, why? It's all about perspective. You know, I eat, sleep, drink this game. People that don't, I think their perspective are warped a little bit. Whereas mine, I think, is reserved on like what's actually good. Because like what I've just told you there, Skull of Amkara is rubbish, where some of you would have said, oh, that could be good, that could be good. It's not, it's rubbish. Whereas some of you would say, bad juju is rubbish, and I think it's pretty good. See what I'm saying about the warp of perception amongst the community now is the worst it's ever been, I think. In terms of knowledge, it's crazy. But anyways, it's with bad juju. Pairing that with the exotic class items, Star Eater Scales, Spirit and Necrotic. Now, Any Warlock main at all in this game should have at least a Star Eater skills role. If you are new to the game, you need to go and get a Spirit of the Star Eater class item role, because this is something a Warlock main needs. In actual fact, it is the most important class item that you can probably get on a Warlock. There are other ones in most light simceps, etc., but for like dungeon content and stuff and DPS requirements, having Star Eater skills on a Warlock is very advantageous because of its because Warlock's not meant to get Star Eaters. So the fact that it can get Star Eaters is insane with one of its supers. So if you're a Warlock main and you haven't got it, why? Tell me why you haven't. I don't want to hear excuse. Tell me why. Let's have a discussion about it. Why have you not got it? If you've been playing longer than 3 months, you should have it. Don't tell me Zer's been screwing you. I don't want to hear that. You definitely should be getting this role. You should have had it by now. Only excuse is if you only played 1 week. Right, so we're playing with a Prismatic Warlock build. So Nova Bomb Cataclysmic. So this is insane OP with Star Eater skills. It's off the charts, its damage. And it's really good for Warden because of what we do with it. I'm using Phoenix Dive, Arcane Needle, Storm Grenade, Feed the Void, Helion, Fragments are, Facet of Ruin, Courage, Dawn, Balance, Dominance. We're pairing it with obviously what I've told you. So weapons wise, we're using Bad Juju. Velocity Baton, the alternative for Velocity Baton is Psycho Pump. So whip out a Psycho Pump if you haven't got this, but same thing again to you about Perception. Why have you not got Velocity Baton with Attrition Orbs? You know, why have you not got it? Because it's like probably within the top 3 energy weapons in the game right now. And it's not that hard to get. Vesper's Host. So that's another thing. Why have you not got that either? Should have it. So in the meantime, use Psycho Pump, but do aim as a goal to be getting Velocity Baton with Attrition Orbs. We're using Watchful Eye with Power Resolve. So because it stops Unstoppables and it stops Overload champs because of Overload LMG. Here's the armor mods. There'll be a dim link anyway, so I'm not going to go through it too much. Here's the artifact mod. One mod in particular. Elemental Siphon. Elemental pickups grant super energy when they are collected with kinetic weapons. So this is really good to pair with Bad Juju. You're going to get elemental pickups. They're going to give you more super. So you're getting a lot of supers with this. And we need lots of orbs to overcharge my super as well. So the build actually works out rather well in that sense. But yeah, obviously we haven't got barrier rounds on, but we've got Radiant. Radiant is our barrier weapon. Right, we're going to have barrier because of this. So it's actually fine. But again, you could do Outbreak Perfected. You could do Rev Zero. But I've already done those exotics in the past. I wanted to run Bad Juju because I haven't run it in a long time. That was the build information on this. Okay, so in this run, let's see how Bad Juju performs on a moment-to-moment basis. How does String Curses work? How good is it for super regen? How is it good for just overall utility in a GM? Especially solo, bear in mind. This is solo as well. Yeah? So, these first couple of ads I'm going to actually kill just to show you the timer. With the catalyst, it actually extends it. I'm going to make this Goblin Headless to get a Devour Arcane Needle off. This gives me Devour left-hand side. Now I'm going to chain kill all of these ads. Pay attention to Transcendence Energy, Super Energy, Elemental Pickups, and just look at what we're doing. We're actually clearing the entire room quite effortlessly. I purposely have not used my nade or my class ability to see what Bad Juju does. Look at that. A full clear, easy. With the 100% buff String Curses, you see. Now we get a stun with our Storm Grenade because it jolts. Now I'm going to make us some orbs with Velocity Baton. This is why Velocity Baton is basically top 3 specials in the game. Yeah, it might be the best special weapon in the game actually. Apart from Lord of Wolves, I'm on about legendary wise. Because Attrition Orbs with Air Regen LGL is just the best thing in the game. If you see, you know, if you watch speedrunners, you'll see they always run Velocity Baton. That or Lost Signal, depending on what's going on. Depending on what's going on with their loadout. But yeah, Lost Signal is just that good. Psycho Pump as well is very good. It's just, again, it's a shame there's no attrition orbs in. I'm on an orb build. If you're rocking an orb build with star rate scales, attrition orbs is the way to go. So use multi-mac then. You know, if you haven't got velocity baton, alright then, put some sort of multi-mac on or some attrition orb weapon that you've got. If you're going to do star rate scales Nova Bomb. So look at this, we're the best. Look at this, backflips. In a GM who does that. We're going to get a Helion with our class ability, and then we're going to stun this unstop with my LMG. And then Nova. It looks dangerous, but it's not. Bolt charges heal you, so when I stun the champ, I get health. When I discharge bolts, I get health. So it's not that risky. It looks it, but it's not. Okay, so with the barrier champ, barriers we have not got natural barrier on, so we need to prep the champ with some GL shots, then do radiant with our melee just before shield break, then use bad juju to take down the shield, and then melt. The DPS rotation you've just saw, I will use for all barrier champs. Look at this backflips again. I'm the king, you know what I do. I put champions in body bags. Look at this, I'm an SRL fanatic. Look how far. Style points. Where's my medals? Where are my SRL medals? Okay, doing this bit back to front is the way to go. It's just easier to do it. We're going to prep this barrier champ. We've got 2 radiant melees, look. This isn't hard to do, honestly. Maybe looks it to you, but it's not. For the barrier champ rotation. Again, it's just your radiant timing. If you're somebody that struggles on that, then just use Rev 0 then. Wish Ender, Rev 0. You could use Outbreak as well. But Rev 0 and Wish Ender naturally have barrier rounds in them. If you're that type of player. But I've showcased those builds off. Yeah, I'm showing something else off today. Bad juju. Because that's, if you haven't noticed yet, that's what my goal is in endgame content to show off as many builds as not humanly possible, but as possibly as it is for me. The most I've, like, you won't see me use the same build back to back video wise. No, never, because you've already seen it. I might stagger that out a bit. So say if I use Outbreak, I might run it twice a month in videos or something, or Rev 0 twice a month, maybe 3 times max. But I'm actually quite selective of the builds I run on a video by video basis. Look at that, what we've done there. We've took out all those ads. Really good. I've got super. I've got Feast of Light times 4. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spawn kill the Hydra first. This is better. This is a better way of doing it. It's more efficient. It's slower, but it's more efficient because you can strategize a good Nova Bomb and stuff like that. And you spawn in the ads actually at the back of the map when you do this. So here's how it's going to go. Radiant first, so Arcade Needle. Then look at that, we just melt the barrier. Then we're going to do some baton things in middle with a good nade. Then I pop Transcendence. So the goal here is actually not to kill the barrier on left. We're going to leave him. I'm going to go to middle and generate as much super energy as I can. That's the goal here. It's also a good place to stand because the Minotaurs will push, so it's better for that. We're Devour chain killing, so we're allowed to do this. We're allowed to play very aggressive on this. That's exactly what I'm doing. Like, yeah, we get weak, but that's part of the game. Devour chain killing, that's part of it. But yeah, when we get close to super, well, I should have killed some more ads, but I'm pretty good because now I'm going to use this barrier champ as a means of getting more orbs for star rate scales, because it actually matters on the 1 cycle on the boss if we've got some star rate scales or not. Like, it just speeds it up, if you know what I'm saying. So look, I've made a bunch of orbs. 4 to 5 is enough. Mini boss has spawned in, that's good. I'll wait for him to come middle because I don't want to waste my Nova. He's spawned it, there we go, look, he comes in. Passive Courage with Arcane Needle. Nova Bomb, star rate scales, melt. Really good. This setup's really good because it confirms the run. because I don't know if everybody's comfortable with solo 1 cycle on Warden. Let me know how you are with that. Because I've been solo 1 cycling this boss loads with various loadouts, but I imagine some people struggle with it. This build, you should not struggle with solo 1 cycle on the final boss. So it confirms the run right away. We're building our build from back to front. You do your build to build craft for boss first, final boss, and then you build it backwards. Because why would you build your build for the start of the GM for it to fail at the boss and go to orbit? It might sound like satire, and it is, but it's also dead on, bang on common sense. Or should be. Craft your build back to front from the GM final boss all the way to the start. And that is exactly what this build is. It's build crafted more for the final boss, but it does inherently work very well getting to the boss anyways, as a side effect. But it's really good, as I say, at the end. So I'm just getting rid of these champs. Look at the amount of super energy we've been generating. That's good as well, because bad juju means I'll get my super quicker, which means I can overcharge it quicker. Do you see? So it actually works pretty well with baton on star rated scales, because the weakness to star rated scales is that you can't use it as much, because when you use it, you've lost it and you haven't got your buffs. So you need to get your super, then get 6 orbs. Well, on this build, it's not a problem, because you're going to get your super quicker because of star rated scales. Nova Bomb is a slow charge super rate. It's not Roman super, so it's slow inherently. Bad Juju will speed that up quite a lot. Very noticeable. Baton will then finish the business, give us 6 orbs when the super's overcharged. Not to mention though, we don't always want 6 orbs. Sometimes we only want 2, but the final boss we do want 6. Also, Spirit Necrotic works well in this as well. It always does. Look at this. So we got star rate scale 6. We get Radiant first. Now, I was hoping to get a double kill on those barriers and I didn't. Which I can do that. But it's one of the champs must have not got hit as much as I wanted. But look at this Transcendence. Look what we're doing here. We're playing aggressive. Look at the Overshield. That's Malign Harvest. Devour. Playing really aggressive with this Transcendence usage. We'll get our Heli on that assist with unstops as well. Obviously Power Resolve will stop the unstop though. But yeah, that was a good Transcendence pop, that. My plan was to double kill the double barriers. It didn't happen, but that's fine. But it is a shame, because I know that is possible. It's just the way the champs were positioned. Okay, look, super. By the way, I've just used it. How long ago was that? 20 seconds? And I've got my super back. And we're on Nova Bomb with it's a slow cooldown Nova Bomb. One-shot supers are all slow cooldowns. Roman supers are ×3. This is basics. But if you run a super regen exotic with a one-shot super, then it alleviates the problem of the low cooldown, of the high cooldown, sorry. So, we're going to spawn kill these champs. I'm going to get a Radiant melee. I did not have barrier. That's unfortunate. My Radiant melee whiffed. That's okay. We've got another one. I'm going to use a Nova here. But I sort of messed up a little bit there. I shouldn't have Nova bombed so soon. But that's fine. The champ's dead anyways. Okay, so now cap point A. So I've used my Nova there. I was going to use it anyways, to be honest. So we need to generate that. But I'm going to be able to generate a super before cap point C anyways, because I need my super for the mini boss. Well, I don't need it, but it's part of the plan for the run to have it. But look at my super energy. So I'm totally getting it. Cap point A is 20 seconds. We don't need to exclusively go on cap point A until 10 seconds, like I've been saying. So look, we've just strategized the super there. You know, I used it on the unstop. I realised, oh, I'm not killing many ads, so I needed to do a little bit of optimization there to make up for that. I definitely have my super for the mini boss, which I will, won't I? So Bad Juju worked really well for that bit. And that's exactly what Bad Juju's identity is. It's good for a... If your main concern in a GM is red bars and orange bars, Bad Juju's S+ for that. The problem with Bad Juju, its weakness is single target damage. That's where Revision 0 and Outbreak Perfected wins. It's a sort of a mini shame with Bad Juju, because if it had that single target damage, yeah, it would really, really make it really good. It is good now. It's decent. 10 out of 10. But yeah, that's where it lacks a little bit. But you can make up for that in your build kits nowadays. It's called build crafting. You can supplement exotics with other weapons to make up for them. It's easy to do that. And you can do just seasonal weapons. Like I've said, Psycho Pump, Watchful Eye. Loads of weapons can supplement other weapons. Loads. So I'm going to get a Helion. And I'm going to do my Nova. Didn't have full star rate skills, but I didn't really need it. Look, he's dead. That's fine. No need to optimize star rate skills there, but there is going to be optimizations for the final boss, of course. So looking at my ammo, I'm full on heavy, full on special. I've got a Transcendence meter, but I need a super. I'll get that because there's loads of champs. But that's where this run really is good, I think, for people. Where if you're somebody that's struggling with the solo 1 cycle, I mean, you could just use a linear with particle reconstruction. And I've said that before, but that means you've got a linear on for your run. And linears are powerful, but I think for newer players, a machine gun's more powerful than a linear. Because if they get into problems, they can whip out a machine gun and they're good. If they've committed to, say, Queenbreaker, Sleeper Simulant, or Scintillation or something like that, that means if they get into a problem, that linear is not going to help them. So that's why I think this setup's really good for newer players, because it allows you to still run a machine gun and still solo 1 cycle the boss very easily. It's easy. Very, very easy. You'll see it. I'll commentate it. Okay, so Barrier Champ needs to be taken care of. Radiant melee goes in. I'm just going to use my stuff, my Storm Grenade, Jolt, Helion, everything. That barrier needs to be deleted. Then what we need to do, we get pushed here a little bit, but that's fine. You just need to get rid of this unstoppable champion. The Overlord got killed by some assistive damage. That's fine. That's good. I barely damaged the Overlord. I don't know why he died so quick, to be honest. Now look, I've got full super, full transcendence. That's all that's required. And a couple of abilities, you may as well, we shall have them. But we want 6 orbs. That's the next thing. And that's where, look, this is where the power of this comes in. Look in your vaults for attrition orb primaries as well. They're very powerful. I've used a couple. You've saw me use a couple of attrition orb primaries. They're very strong. So if you want to do that to supplement Velocity Baton gameplay, you kind of can. Multi-Mac is a star exotic for that. Sorry, star weapon. It's a star weapon. So, ×5 Feast of Light. We've got all our stuff. We want Helion, Storm Grenade. So here's the damage rotation. Helion first. We're going to Baton, Grenade, Melee, Transcendence, Debuff, Arcane Needle, Nova Bomb, Whip Out Machine Gun. He's done. That was a solo GM on this. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.